Hey folks, Brian, we got to play Elderath tonight. This was session 72 for those of you who are actually counting and tracking that kind of stuff. Um, when we left the party last time, Raymond had noticed through the temple that there were creatures gathering in certain areas to the northeast and the southwest and like right above us. He took Runt to go and talk with some manta rays about getting help from the fishes. The one at the entrance kind of agreed and then swam off. But for this session, we start out talking. That reminds me, like placing that description. We talked about using materials to help cover part of the temple, and we kind of figured out that now there's probably 3 of these 2-man tent kinds of things that we have, and if we hook them all together, they might cover over the entrance. So that's kind of where we are, in the entrance, under the cover, waiting for stuff to happen when the Kuatua attack. Well, the fishmen attack. They're coming up the stairs at us. So there's a bunch on the landing that we can see, and then there's more down the stairs we can see. A couple of them, but then down below we can't see anymore. So Raymond casts this thing called Earth Wall. It builds a 10-foot by 10-foot by 3-foot wall of earth, and he anchors it on the temple entrance, which leaves us with a hex and a half of room between the earth wall and the actual temple entrance wall. You know, trying to do a funnel kind of thing. And then Hjalmar runs up to do a blocking position with the stone, with the earth wall, which actually means that everybody could, well, the Kuatua, the fish guys could line up on one side, 3 of them attacking him, instead of being on the other side where they can come through one at a time, and then we get 2 or 3 people attacking. This tactics thing we'll need to discuss in the future. The priestess that's here, her name is Varen. She says that she will take care of Krim, and she's using the temple to cast paladin stuff on Krim. And the temple's magic points are being diverted to help repair the gate breach, but there are 18 magic points available. Fish guys attack us. Talked about the choke point. Wes casts Stun Cloud on the other side, so if they're coming up, they'll have to go through it, kind of thing. Raymond cast protections, and then there were a bunch of them out there, right? So Wes cast Sleep 5, none of which is successful. It turns out they have a shaman with them, and he's cast some kind of protections on them, so their resistance rolls are really high. They have an effective power of 18. So with the spell levels using a power of 12, 50 minus 3 is 20. He's got to roll a 20 or less on their saving throws to get by them and have them get affected. Not very successful. Raymond can feel the shaman from through the temple senses, and so he kind of said he's off of this direction. So Wes casts breezes to move the stun cloud towards where the shaman seems to be, but then he casts some kind of canceling essence thing, which the stun cloud didn't save against, so it was canceled. At that point, Krim comes forward. Hjalmar steps back. She moves forward. And Wes was going to cast shield on her because she's using the great sword two-handed, and the shield spell actually creates a magical shield in front of her that can be used like a shield. For 2 reasons. One, Wes wanted to help protect Krim, and the other thing is I wanted to have a chance to discuss with the GM the mechanics of this shield spell from spell law, and how that converts into what we're doing here with BRP. But you can only cast shield on the caster. So he then said he cast blur on her, and that actually caused an issue where there's some description, because she's got this thing called Oh. I forgot what it's called, but there's aura, then there's true aura, then there's this other thing where she appears to be a godlike being, right? Which then gives her protections. You're like minus 35 to hit her. Yeah, I think minus 35 to hit her because of her presence, right? So let's cast Blur on her because Blur makes her harder to see, harder to hit. Another minus 10, and he didn't like that. So there's going to be some discussions about that in the future. Okay. As these creatures move up, West has vision on so many, so he casts Sleep 7. Again, all of them save. And Rim's up there being attacked. She's got a critical hit on her right leg, so she goes down on her leg. And there's a line of sight right along the wall of the temple entrance where Wes is standing. So he triggers the lightning bolt in his staff right along that line. So it hit 3 of them, plus the shaman guy, which we couldn't really see. Did some decent damage to them, but it's just, a d6, so not a whole lot. Because when I store a spell, I can't overcharge him. Otherwise, it would get completely out of control. I have no problem with that, really. And then he casts Whole Kind on the Kuatua that attacked Krim. Well, it turns out this critical hit was actually an impale because they're using spears. Raymond runs up there, cuts on the thing, and Krim pulls the head out, and then Raymond starts doing healing on her. Krim attacks, kills one of the leading Kuatua that is actually hit by lightning, so she moves forward. So we all rearrange. Wes then casts Stun Cloud 10, which forms a 10-foot radius sphere of these charged particles. So it's forming, and it actually forms on all the Kuatua but one. And the next round, he casts Sudden Light to do the stun thing. Luckily, he actually stunned 3 of them. 2 for just 1 round, but 1 of them for 4. And then the stun cloud does damage, and 1 of them dies because, Krim has been pounding on him. And Hjalmar had moved up next to Krim, and he attacks a Kuatua that he ends up killing. Oh, I'm missing something here because I fired a double charged lightning bolt afterwards that hit all those guys again. And so the guy that Hjalmar killed had been hit by a couple points of lightning bolts. Because that second lightning bolt I overcharged, and so it is doing 2d6 to everybody, and it did a lot of damage. I rolled a couple 10s, an 11, and a 12. So combat ensues. Shocking clouds hurting some of the fish guys. And we now have an entryway to get out of our bottleneck. Raymond kind of knows where the shaman is. And what's her face? Varen? Varen says, kill the priest! Kill the priest! And so Raymond kind of pushes Hjalmar along, and the 2 of them run around behind one of the pillars, which is where the guy is. And they engage him. Meanwhile, 3 rounds of the shocking stun cloud nail a bunch of Kuatua. In fact, all but 2 of them end up being killed from that. But Krim's in there, killing 1 at a time as she's hacking away at him. Raymond and Hjalmar get on the shaman. Raymond does a slash to the guy's head, which kills him. There's 1 Kuatua left in the stun cloud, because Krim, after there were only 2 left, Wes yells to Krim, "They're dead next round! They're dead! They're dead already! Forget about them and get the shaman." That was before we knew about Raymond's hit. And then he's watching them. Shocking cloud goes down, goes off. one of them goes down. The other one actually engages with Krim and got a impale. I don't remember if it was a crit or not in her back. Oh, her abdomen. And then one more stun cloud, which only did a couple points. Then then West did a double charged shock bolt, which killed him. So there was finally some actual magic actually working, because the normal stuff that they can save against just wasn't working. He threw 3 different hold kind spells that they just kept saving after. That's a 2-point spell, so he went through a few magic points. It's been verified that Wes can tap into Emerald's magic points to cast spells, so we did that a few times for those lightning bolts. He also used his staff's got it's a +2 spell adder, so 2 of those lightning bolts base cost was free. You just had to pay for the overcharge and that kind of stuff. It was once he could actually do some damage, it was doing some damage right at the end, which was very, very helpful. Afterwards, Wes searches the shaman's body looking for any kind of possible magic items. Doesn't find anything. Raymond heads off to talk with the fish about trying to help heal them up. Runt is very concerned about getting all this dead fish guys off the temple proper, so we start dragging them off, discuss doing a bonfire, and then, hey, why don't we just throw them out in the ocean? Yeah, that's right. So we go to the east gate. That's where we just let the fish eat them and start spreading them out there. While that's going on, Raymond's trying to talk to the fish and say, "You're not the one." So Hjalmar, who's with him, runs back to where Runt and I are, takes over Runt's position and carrying off dead bodies, and says, "Go hook up with Raymond. The fish aren't talking to him. Do your fish thing." And so Runt goes over there, and they do this whole deal about, yeah, he's the one, but he doesn't talk to fish. Raymond's got to do the fish translation deal on him and stuff like that. But it all comes down to, okay, there are way too many fish here for us to do any real healing. But some first aid can get done and that kind of stuff. There are specifically some large fish, like, well, not sharks. Sharks not fish, or are sharks fish? I don't remember. Large creatures like sharks that are badly hurt. So they're doing first aid on them, that kind of stuff. But there's way too many to actually do real healing on. And that is where we ended the night. Nice, good battle. Got some actual magical damage doing stuff, which is fun. That lightning bolt, the overcharged lightning bolt, did some significant damage. In the shocking cloud, they call it stun cloud, but it's charged particles, electrocuting everybody. 3 rounds of that did a whole lot of good damage. I was rolling all kinds of high numbers with the D8s and D6s, which was nice. So all in all, a good night. Happy gaming.